So, the term thinking outside of the box is thrown around a lot, or at least it was when I was younger. And it's useful for describing the ability to come up with new solutions for something that previous solutions or other solutions won't work on because they're not applicable for some reason. But it's also useful to think outside of the box in an emotional experience-based aspect where you can consider certain things that you would otherwise not be able to. Here's an example that will take some elaboration. If you've ever seen a dead animal that's not so decomposed or rancid that you can't approach it and look at it and examine it, and it looks like a live animal for the most part, except maybe the eyes or whatever, then you can look at it and you might have never seen an animal of that kind that close before, and so you examine it and it's very kind of foreign and alien to you. And so I was lying on my couch, kind of staring at my feet and spacing off and thinking, what would it be like if I were some kind of sentient creature as conscious as I am, but a different species that is completely different from my own anatomical structure? What would it be like to look at the feet and be like, wow, this is so weird? And somehow, I don't know if others can do this, but I can kind of imagine what it would be like and look at my feet in a way that actually gives me impress, or any part of my body in a way that's like, or anything that I see normally in my life, and look at some unusual aspect and see it from a different angle, or see it from a foreign perspective, at least to some extent. But this is all based on your imagination. But it's pretty cool to do this because it's very pleasing. Like, you can think about certain kinds of social aspects or social customs that, if you think of from an outside perspective, are really weird. Like, for example, greeting someone when you really don't care to greet them. Most of the time when you walk into a store and someone says, hi, welcome, you're not going to be like, oh, hey, Bob, nice to see you. You don't actually know that person. You might be like that if you go to that store regularly, but, So, most people just use, polite kind of gestures like I do, and, I kind of try to fake a polite thing, like I assume most people try to do. But it's weird when you think about this from a foreign aspect, because it's not genuine, and you know that it's not genuine, and I know that it's not genuine. So, I mean, for some people it is genuine, and there are situations where using manners are genuine, like for someone who you actually respect or know. But in the sense of, greeting someone that you don't know, like saying hi to someone as you pass them on the sidewalk, it's really a useless gesture unless unless you plan to ask them something or say something to them, or unless you want to, like, increase your relationship by engaging in small talk, which for me is, like, just boring as hell, because I can't stand small talk. It's like, come on, let's talk about something interesting. But yeah. So anyway, thinking about things from a perspective that you've never thought of them before is very interesting, and it's really fun, and you should try to do it. And you should let me know in the comments below if you are able to do something like that, because as far as I know, I'm the only one that can do it, because I've asked other people about this, and I can kind of remind them of it, but they don't tend to realize it on their own. Like, I can say something about it, but yeah. So you should see if you can think of certain things like this. I'm sure I'm not the only one, because, whatever. It seems like a pretty easy thing to do if you have enough creativity and empathy and imagination. It might take some empathy, but it might also be like, I don't know. It sometimes helps to have some drugs, like actually caffeine can help if you don't take too much that you're going to vomit or overdose, because it's obviously not good. But if you take enough to the point where you're feeling wired, like having 5 cups of espresso, if you can do that, you obviously need to eat something first, otherwise you might get sick. But yeah, you can sometimes think about things in a weird way, but 5 shots of espresso that are like really strong, they can also leave you feeling pretty uncomfortable afterwards. my prescription medication happens to help me think outside of the box in many ways. It's Adderall. I'm sure other people have it out there and could probably utilize it. That's why I mentioned what its name is. And I'm sure that there are other drugs that do so, but, you know. Sorry if I've been looking off to the side. I'm trying to make sure I'm in frame. And I'm recording this on my phone, which is using the front-facing camera, which is why the quality is shitty.